afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well today. I'm going to do a really short reading today. It's basically in response to a conversation I had earlier, which was to do with this mutated virus that's going around in Britain. And I said, if I'm going to get that, I want to at least turn into Magneto. I had this image of like rising above some football stadium with a helmet on. So today's reading is going to be, what are your superpowers? So I'm not saying that I'm wishing anybody to have a mutated virus at all, but basically, if you're a superhero, what qualities would you have and who would you be? I don't know any superheroes, so you might have to make that one up yourself. You've got 3 powers as usual: power number 1, power number 2, and power number 3 for a really short, fun spread today. If you want to take your choice, then we'll get going. Okay. Right then, power number 1. Superpowers. Let's go. If you're a superhero. Okay, right then. I get a feeling that you're somebody who is very, I'm going to say intense, but collected with it. Somebody who can see what's going on below the surface, understands it and keeps it to themselves. Physically, I think you're very strong. I wonder whether you're somebody that runs marathons or hikes a lot or does weightlifting or has a strength about their actual physicality that's quite intense and, I'm going to say, musculatured in some way. There's just a strength there. There's an ability to persevere at things, an ability to a tenacity, I think, a physical tenacity, which is basically perseverance. I don't know whether you swim. You're somebody who can stick out things, and this is a physical bit to me. Somebody who can stick out things and has a very good mindset and can actually see the end of the line and keep moving towards it. And it's as if people can't trip you up mentally or physically, as if you're quite direct, a bit like the Chariot card here. You're directed in what you want and where you're going. Emotionally, you're somebody who waits. Emotionally, you're somebody who waits until the situation is about to explode. It's almost as if it's a bit like a Taurus feel to it, where you let things rumble until you yourself are rumbling, and then it's almost like a volcanic reaction in some way, or some sort of, you're aware of what's going on, but you perhaps leave it quite late to strike. And I wonder whether some ways, if you're a superhero, do you know what it makes me think of? It's a strong, silent type that understands what is going on, and watches and waits until the correct moment to strike. But I wonder whether you suffer from wondering whether you can actually change the event when it actually turns upside down, because you may leave it too late. Spiritually, which makes me, these 2 cards actually lead me to this as well. Spiritually, I think you're somebody who's quite in tuned with your intuition. You have a good insight into what's going on with yourself and with other people. You're somebody who spends a lot of time on your spirituality, not just your physical and not just how you react emotionally, but also how you see life living in a more wider spread, more depth, more understanding to what's going on below the surface. It makes me think of somebody at a party who's got I don't know why a party, I'm thinking back to an old party when I was 14, I don't even know why, and somebody's standing there against a wall who's physically really well built and is in the male or female, they just look good and steady in their body, and there's some sort of element of control in the way that they move and the way that they gesture or lean against things or just walk. But there's an inner depth to this person who allows people, because of their strength, they allow situations to rumble towards them and get bigger and bigger before they actually do anything about it. And I'm not sure whether you pay for that or whether you actually, as in it's harder for you, or whether you have that strength with this sort of spirituality as well, to almost watch people being themselves and think, you're not touching me, as in you can't touch me, because there's an understanding here of how people move and their motives. And in everyday reality, how you use these skills are in a very sort of, I don't think people understand what is going on behind you, because with this Page of Pentacles, this energy is almost petered down into a more practical fashion where you actually use this insight, this strength of personality and physicality to almost feed out to people. People don't know, you feed it out in small crumbs to people. It's like a boss energy that has to deal with co-workers or people that work under them, and they only reveal parts of themselves to get what they want. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but to get things moving. It's control and being able to live it out in a really, it's very astute, being able to present it in everyday life and everyday more mundane matters in a way that other people can understand it, perceive it, and actually make it work in the world. What a superpower. I don't know, I don't actually watch superhero films here, so if anybody in the comment section knows of anybody that personifies strength, understanding, psychic ability, real strong physicality, with an ability to use that in an everyday world in a way that other people can actually, it can manifest things rather than you often get people with really large, I'm not going to say personalities, but insight into things, or that can't actually put it into practice. So this practicality card is gorgeous at the end of this intensity and this strength. So who would that be? I don't know. I don't watch superhero films because my attention span is just so small. You're not having Magneto, that's me. Leave a comment in the comment section for that one. If you can find out who you are, find it out and I will look it up, put it into the comment section, because I want to know what superhero you would be. But these are the qualities that you would have. Right, thank you, Pile 1. Fantastic. See you later. Okay. Right, this has a real feel of somebody who can pull themselves out of life and think and think and think and meditate, and then comes out and in a more gentle fashion than pile number 1 gives their beliefs out in an almost nebulous sort of seeping fashion which goes into people's minds and changes them slowly. You're coming out physically as being the hermit, so I can't actually think physically as in your body type, but it's somebody to me who retracts out of life, a bit like an Aquarius. I know this is Virgo, who retracts out of life and then changes things in their mind and tries to understand things until they come back at the correct time and present it in a way that's not been presented before, and it makes an impact. The hermit is somebody who goes into a cliff and changes themselves internally. I mean, not into a cliff, not like that superhero, but I have this image of I obviously read a book many years ago of a hermit that went into a hole in a cliff. This is you, is somebody who can retract and change themselves internally and then make an impression on people externally after a period of time. Emotionally, the devil here, oh yeah, emotionally the devil. There are emotions in the devil. Now the devil isn't very emotional, so I wonder whether you're very good at I wonder whether you don't have that much water in you and whether you don't let emotions affect you in everyday life, which is, again, is fantastic. What a superpower. I mean, emotions are those things that bring us back lifetime after lifetime. And it's almost if you can't control them, you're not in control of yourself in a bigger picture, in the way that you are going to, if you're angry with somebody, you're going to come back in your next, there aren't next lifetimes, but I think it's all at once, but you're going to come back with this person again. I kept saying this to my mum, who is a Capricorn, by the way, who divorced my dad probably about 20 years ago. And then she ranted for 10 years after about him. And I kept thinking, Mum, let it go, because you're just going to end up together again. So I wonder whether you have this like superhero emotional quality of being able to keep control of those emotions, and so that they don't affect you too much. There's a real sense of inner control with these two here, physically, emotion control, and then it actually softens here, which is a real strength here. I think it's your strength spiritually, or spirituality wise. You have the star, which is control with vision. So I wonder whether you have an insight on what should happen and where things should be going. The Hermit, understanding, a deep understanding, and then it's like an insight into the future where things should be rolling. And then how you make this work in the world is through spirituality and almost like an occult feel. It's like knowing secrets, and then it's like a gentle feel of control and helping others bring in, I would say, like higher powers. And I don't mean like higher, I do mean higher powers, because we are superhumans today. It's almost like a feeling of bringing in those things that you didn't have access to 100 years ago, and you deliver them to everybody else, or you make other people aware with your vision and your ability to direct that vision. And that's what you do. That is your job. Your job in life is to understand, control, and expand and help people dig and delve of what have been secrets in the past to turn into something new, like a new age, as in like you are turning them, or basically feeding them into the new age. Or a new age. What is super fab? What? That is fab. I don't know as a superhero who this would be, but it would be somebody who's quite feminine. It would be somebody who's controlled and feminine, but very understanding of how to, I'm not going to say the magician, like manipulate their powers, but understanding of where we should all be as a whole and how to get there, and using knowledge from the past that hasn't been quite open, or people haven't had access to it, and slowly revealing it to other people. I'm thinking astrologer here, or something like that, or somebody interested in the occult that has studied for a long time and controlled themselves, so not only they can put their own sort of mundane experiences into their spiritual learnings and deliver it to people in a way that is really expressive and they can understand it and grasp it. Please leave a superhero in the comments section for pile number 2. I don't know any superheroes apart from like Wonder Woman and the Hulk, and that's not you. Oh, Wonder Woman maybe. Yeah, Wonder Woman maybe. I don't know. Hulk definitely not. Right, okay, thank you, pile number 2. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again. Okay, pile number 3. Your superpowers. Okay, right, this makes me think of somebody who's quite receptive in many ways, somebody who listens rather than talks. Physically, the Karmic Soul Tribes card here makes me think of somebody who is aware of where they've been and where they're going. It's almost as if you're aware almost of your past lives, and there's a depth to your understanding of yourself here. Emotionally, I think you have the ability to leave situations that don't serve you very well. And it's got like a healing Chiron feel to it here, where you could possibly use those experiences to almost, and it's got this bird flying over the nest, and I don't know whether it's something to do with children and mothers in some way, or it could be fathers, where you actually heal people who have been through trauma with an understanding. It's something you've built up, or experience that you've built up over many lifetimes. There's a nurturing feminine feel, whether you're male or female. It's a nurturing feminine feel, and that's where your powers lie, in listening and nurturing others, and an understanding of yourself and where you've come from and who you are, which I think is very strong with you. Spiritually, it's almost as if your spirituality is quite concrete. It's not a case of still learning. It's not a case of still finding out and wanting to know. It's a case of nobody ever does get it together, do they? But I'm almost there to be able to live what I perceive to be my spiritual concepts in some way, and deliver them to myself and to others so that they actually work. So there's an understanding, and then there's this like practicality in the way that you live your life and your superpowers. And then your last card is... Right, sorry about that. Camera clicked off because the battery went out. And I was just saying, physically you have that understanding that you possibly have lived lifetime after lifetime, and you just basically know how to use it in this lifetime. So there's that real awareness of who you are and where you want to go. Emotionally, I get that nurturing feeling that you know how to leave a situation that doesn't serve you anymore, and you will take others with you if you don't think it serves them either. And spiritually, it's a real grounded spirituality. And I don't know whether it's grounded as in you've got boundaries, or you're just very good at using it in everyday life. And how do you use these superpowers? I think you use them in a very receptive, feminine way, where people... It's not somebody who goes out and attacks life. It's somebody who draws life towards them and then changes people by their actions, rather than going out and on a crusade. You live who you are, and people are drawn towards those qualities inside you which they think they can pick out and make themselves better people. So quite a feminine feel to this pile. It's a feminine feel where there's a mothering quality, an understanding, and an ability to know boundaries in relationships. So I don't know what that would give you or who that would be as a superpower. Depth, understanding, receptive qualities, and nurturing. Right, I don't know. I'm not very good with superheroes. So if you do know pile 3 of anybody that is, I don't know who, is it Warner Brothers? It's not, is it? Marvel. Any Marvel person who is a superhero would fit these qualities, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, just a sort of fun pile. I haven't got much time today, but thank you for joining me. Bye.